That's actually correct. And Nova, well, they just did everything in the most perfect ways. Talk about aim, talk about just getting to the circles, talk about taking the fights. So let's actually head on to the gameplay visuals, the one that we are
Mm-hmm.
here for in this con. So uh, let me know if you see this. I hope you can see this, right?
Yes.
It's just coming up. Yeah, I hope you can see
Mm-hmm.
this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask from you what's going on. This is day one's last game, in which Nova got second position, but at the end, they did play really good because in this game, if you talk about it, right, Nova is at one second, yeah, Nova is at fifth. They are at fifth position right now. So this is from where I'm gonna be just starting off my conversation. So yeah, the stage is all yours. So yeah, I guess this is where yeah, it's working fine. So yeah, the stage is all yours. So let me know like what was going on through their mind because I see you as well, just chunking out your brain, just doing all those things. So yeah, what was going on? Because right now, as much as I see, they are outside the circle, so they have to make their way inside the circle. So what do you feel can be a really good way for this for doing all of these things?
Well, when I first watched their team POV, at the first they were a little bit hesitated, especially Jimmy, because they didn't know. I mean, they kind of wanted to fight the left side and kind of to find, and they were also afraid of like the right side. Like if they fight with the left, the right
Yeah,
side team, like the ST, they may come up and third party them. So they were a little bit like pinched between two teams.
yeah,
But in the end, like Jimmy made a call, like just clear the left side as fast as possible, and they kind of just deliver that. And Jimmy like he used a car play and doing a drive by, and if you
yeah,
get all enemies location, and Order and a Paraboy would just like shoot the Enigma Galaxy down. And after they clear the left side, they quickly like turn to the right side and to check, if there's enemies snaking up on us or eliminate us, or even try to like get some sneaky kill on us. And
mhm,
unfortunately, that didn't happen. Fortunately, that didn't happen. So yeah, they clear their edge. So because the reason why they cleared Nigma Galaxy, because they all have the same entry point in the zone, so they
yeah,
kind of they have to fight with each other so that they can survive at the spot. And they kind of just did that. And yeah, that's right now what's happening. You see like Nova's right now is like they're checking
yeah,
the right side, and if after they went to the right side, they find, oh, there's like enemies from far are shooting at us. We couldn't, like, you see King get knocked down by the
yeah.
left side. If they go the right, the left knock them. If they go the left, the right may knock them. So
Yes.
they were kind of hesitated. So like after like a King is revived, and then Jimmy said, "Yo, we kind of like keep like doing this, like getting knocked and the pinch between two teams. We have to pick a team and a fight."
Yeah.
Um, so they picked up left side, and yeah, they just got the better out of the Nigma Galaxy team.
I was actually talking to Zute as well a few days back, and he told me a thing or two about the call outs that are given by the teams, right? He told me a few things like the players they have two, three different words. One is la, the other one is yeah. It's like to push to just pressurize the teams and all. So in these kind of circles, when the players have to just make their way inside the circle, what do you think should be a player's understanding of a zone like this? You talked about clearing out the left side and the right side, but what do you think should be a perfect timing so that they clear out the space and they move inside the zone?
Well, first of all, they always look for the kill feed. For
Hmm.
example, I believe like a King actually missed the kill feed because at the moment, there's a moment like Nigma Galaxy was like they got three of their player knocked, but they
Yes,
failed
yes,
to like
yes.
get hold of the kill feed because King kind of missed it, and also it's kind of hard in those like messy situations, especially the kill feed is like hidden, like
Yeah,
we can only see team 2, team 3 like in the kill feed.
yeah,
So first of all, kill message, like you have to um, stay really close to it. If you happen to knock the guy you're about to fight, you have to remember, which team is it, and in during the whole time where they're fighting.
Hmm.
If you see them getting knocked by other teams, then that's a perfect timing so that you can clear the team like fast.
Yeah.
The whole point of those kind of fights is like you have to clear the teams around you fast, because if you are just stalling too long and those teams around you may push up and it pins you, and once they have like a 180 angle, like a team to your left, a team to your right, it's gonna be hard for you to clear either side.
Yeah.
So you have to, first of all, you have to like look like get the kill message, and also secondly you have to like localize your enemies, like where exactly they are. If I find the team at the left, how like approximately like how many times do we have like to
Yeah.
clear the left side so that the right side teams won't third party us. So I would say just two things, like focus on the kill message, and also like what exactly the location where those like two teams around you.
Yeah, and let's talk about these moments, right? The spotting technique, obviously, spotting down your opponents is one of the most important things. So, I'm gonna focus on these movements that are happening right now. How do these people have such a good spotting technique when it comes to, and it's all about confidence as well, because Order spots one, he takes one down. He spots another one, in the immediate success, he takes another one down as well. Like, how what went into Order? I want to know, like, is the guy going through a breakup or something? Because he's just in that, just make himself better or something. Like, what is going with Order?
So first of all, I think has to do with his like game awareness. He was he would know like where the enemy should be if they were them, right? So that's the reason why he look at the direction the enemies might
So
be
he's
in.
yeah. So you're trying to say, what you're trying to say is, he's trying to figure out, if he was the enemy, where should he be sitting, right? Like, as compared to the zone. That's
Yeah, for
actually a
example,
really
like if you're proing, like right, like you may hide behind a rock, you may hide behind a
yeah
tree, right? If you were the enemy, then that's the correct way to play. And it's not like the enemy played it wrong. It's just like like any pro player would probably play like that,
yeah
So order first of all, like his gamer witness set him to the position to scout for the enemies proing their grass, and the secondly, I think the technique Oda was using is like, when imagine we're proing and there's an enemy like walking.
yeah.
Like we will shoot the standing like walking enemy only if like the enemy probably, if he's stopped or like he's like standing for too long and we shoot and knock it, right?
Yeah,
But for order is like order stand up for a little for a few seconds and order go prone, like
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
prone to a different direction. So that makes the opponents kind of hesitate. Oh, should I take the shot? I feel so like if he went
Like
prone, I probably couldn't knock
this.
him. So
Yeah,
they will like wait a little bit, and while doing those movements, in order to see those guys prone the grass, and in order
mhm.
got the better out of them and it just knocked them instead.
I
So
believe.
he was like quick
Yeah,
standing up and a quick prone, and that's
yeah.
makes like the enemies hesitate and
Yeah,
got
I
killed
believe
by order.
this is a very good example of this one, Jifan. I mean, look at this. Paraboy is telling the location of Frankie, like where Frankie is, and then Order also gets up. They communicate with each other, and then Order finishes the play. Like, this is very good communication. But then, let's talk about this fight. What do you think could have been done, and what do you think went wrong? Because I believe, even if Nova came second, I believe this was a perfectly executed fight by these players as well. So I want to know your opinion. What do you think could have been done, and what do you think, where did the things go wrong?
Well, for Nova, I definitely think they could have a little bit of like one more player. They could have one more player be with order to be in the flank position,
Okay.
because like FG was holding the lower ground, like, and Nova's not in circle. All Nova players, they have to prone like on their way down to the hill,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you spot like those players snaking the grass the most, like the easiest, right? Like they're proing with the cover and they're proing down. You see no like order with the flank position,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately order like out of nades or something, like he only threw the molly, so like order was like out of utility, and
Mm-hmm.
because and Jimmy also can knock them for free, right? Like imagine like if just
Yeah,
one player play, like go from above and having like a one or like two players flanking on the right side, they may have better let me get a better hold of like Team FG.
Yeah, I get
You
it.
see like it's very close fight, and it's like a literally like a 1v1 in the end, and the drop shot just got a better out of Nova there.
I love your reaction, Matthew. That
Hmm.
reaction was good, but yeah, it was actually a close fight. The way it just happened, and I agree with this part, the one that you said that order his positioning is a bit different. And had there been one more player just just by his side or something, obviously it could have changed a lot of things maybe, because then order right now is 20 meters outside the circle. He's trying to get inside the circle, and had there been another player like maybe around this tree or something, that would have been a better vision from a lower ground to a lower ground, and then it would have been a better execution. That's actually a really good point. But now let's actually us move on to a different fight that just happened.
Hmm.
And this is I believe this is something that everyone's gonna enjoy and everyone's gonna love, because this one is the chicken dinner that happened
Hmm.
of Nova. And trust me, it was a brilliant chicken dinner with order. And this time again, his positioning just taking the entire credit of everything. So I want to know from you, right? What happened? I want to know from you what went in this fight. Not exactly the final fight, but we'll just let's start it from bit around. Let's call it here. Yeah, we have different teams. Navi is eliminated. That means if Nova, obviously they are going above Navi. This was the match that I would say. This is the match there where Nova established their dominance in the entirety. So I want to know from you, like, what was going on in the players' mind in this at this moment.
Well, in Nova players like mine, they after they're trading knocks with so actually they were because there were still 11 players in the team like on the battleground, so the new is definitely more than two teams, and they cleared their side, which means the other two teams were at the like the other side of the map.
Yeah, yeah,
So they were kind of just waited. Oh, okay, then we can probably third party them, like if they're gonna fight with each other, right?
yeah,
But the other teams got to clear this so quickly, and none of the another player got knocked. So that's when they knew, okay, it's a 3v4 now, and what do you do with like player disadvantage, right? You just threw the nades at them, hopefully get some knocks, and they push
yeah,
because of the knock. But what the misplay here was like Jimmy, King and Jimmy, they were too close with each other, and got a
yeah,
double nade, and our got a double nade on them.
yeah.
So that's when it's like 1 versus 3, or
Yes,
1
one
versus a
versus
4,
four. Yeah,
1 versus 4, and order order Nada like through two nades and knock two players, knock and there's one, and there's like I think a miscommunication from the team on our side. The one player just kind of pushed alone, and
this.
another
Yeah,
player was at the back and not really covering, and order just won those ones. Order just win those ones, and got the 1v4 out of the team NR. You see, yeah, the NR
yeah,
Frozen was a little bit too aggressive because he didn't knew where order was, right.
yeah,
He ordered shoot him, and also like got the drop shot. And Frozen did have really quick reflex, as we discussed the reflex. He nearly got order, but like in this
yes,
situation, position in competitive play, position is is better is matters the
yeah,
most.
yeah,
And
definitely.
even if you have like the best reflex in the world, it's gonna still be hard for you to like turn down players.
I mean,
Yeah.
definitely, positioning definitely matters the most in these kind of fights, especially in Sanok when you have the circle, right? You can
Hmm.
definitely just take a big chunk of fight. But I want to know about this one weapon. Nowadays, UMP is, I would say, it's being overused by everyone. And definitely, UMP is giving out really good results. So I want to know your take on UMP, because when we talk about players like Paraboy, or maybe players like Order, or someone like, Paraboy is DP. That's famous. That's famous everywhere. Paraboy with his DP28 is famous. Order,
Hmm.
we have seen the guy just taking down really good shots with a bolt action, AWM, and all those things as well. Jimmy, we have seen him do really good with sometimes Beryl. I've seen him like clutch out with Beryl 4 times as well in the spray. So I want to know about UMP. How do these guys like? How do these guys take UMP? Like, do they love it? Do they hate it? What's their take? Because UMP, I mean, it's sometimes it's overpowered, as an
Yeah, you
SMG.
just can't say no. At this point, you just can't say no to UMP because UMP just overpowered.
Yeah,
It's saying close range gun if you like trying to frag and trying to do some close quarter fight with your enemy. Like like the damage and also the bullet speed and the hip fire accuracy is just like top tier. It's a top tier weapon right now. Like everyone will choose UMP over other other like Uzi or even
yeah. But
yeah.
do you feel there is any other weapon that can have these capabilities but is underrated? Because I believe, all right, I believe SLR is one such weapon which is really good in terms of DMRs, but people don't use SLR that much. We have seen a few SLR usages in the PMGC finals,
Mhm.
but not a lot of people choose to use SLR somehow. So that's what I want to know. Like, do you feel there are some other weapons as well that have really good capabilities, but it's just people are not using it?
Like they already buffed DMR in the last time update. I believe is like update 1.7. But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reason why like DMR is not commonly used in competitive play it's because M4 and Scar they're still powerful. Like you can
yeah.
still land your shots like when enemies are 300 meters away, and that makes no matter how you like buff DMR, like M4, the people players are still going to choose M4 or Scar over those DMR, no matter like how insane good, how stable the SLR is right
Yeah.
now. So yeah, that's if the like if somehow in the future version where like it's really hard to hit the enemy with the M4 when like enemies are like 200 meters away, and I think that's when like, we will see more like DMR usage in those competitive play.
Hmm. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe someday, because as of now, I believe M4 is actually a comfort zone for a lot of players, right? They like to play it with good comfort. But now, let's get on to a game which I believe is one of the most incredible gameplays.
Hmm.
I'll be a bit biased though, because well, India got a chicken dinner in this one. So I want to know from you your perspective of this game, because Godlike, right? Godlike played this
Hmm.
game quite good. They had the circle, they had the zone, and quite a lot of things as well. But I want to know from your perspective, what do you think? All right, so this conversation, we're going to be taking it to a different level. I'm going to talk to you about where do you think India can improve for the next time? Because definitely we came back to the competitive after 1.5 years. So where do you feel India can improve? It can be anything. It can be like from coming down to our competitives to maybe the global competitives or anything. Where do you think India can improve in maybe for the next tournament?
Hmm. So in the whole PMGC Grand Finals, I mostly focused on the Nova Tencent POV. So I didn't even watch the main POV or for the casters like point of view.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's really hard for me to say like how like a team got like or India any Indian teams how can they improve. But just from the kill feed
yeah,
and also like the placement, I can tell like I don't know what went wrong, but like it seems like no, like for example, got like they got into a fight really early with the other teams,
yeah, yeah,
and if we switch back to Nova gameplay, they don't have they don't have an early fight. They just don't, and it's not worth it. It's like you get 1 point in your early fight, even if you wipe the full squad, that's 1 point. But like if you lose some players, that's gonna be hard for your end game play, and that's if you lose players early on, and it's gonna be hard to get a chicken dinner, as we can see
yeah,
here. Godlike was a four man strong, and they just kind of gatekeep Nova
yeah,
and I got the chicken, and
yeah.
that just shows like 4 man squad is really important if you're trying to get a chicken dinner. And in this
Definitely.
kind of like game, like placements are always higher than kill only worth 1 point, and unless you have like absolute dominant on your gun skill,
Yeah,
like compared with other teams, you can wipe other teams easily without losing any members without third
yeah,
party, and that's when you can definitely. But at this stage, any other teams, they all have good gun skills.
yeah,
Like when it comes to 4v4 fights, it's more like who sees a chance better, and who knock who faster, and like kind of RNG honestly.
Mm.
So definitely, I think the strategy wise, like Indian teams can improve. Like, yeah, just like, it's not like you need to be scared of fight, but you have to like play a little smarter, right? Like, trying
Hmm.
to like you can avoid some unnecessary fights in in early on stages.
Yeah,
And
but
we were seeing them like I was seeing like a guy like A7 was one of the best America's team, and
A7,
they
yeah.
won they won those 44s against A7. So they like got like they does have a good gun skill as a team. But the
Mm.
thing is, when you're constantly engaging with those like um, team like early fights, you lose positions in the circle, and you lose some players. It's just gonna be hard.
Yeah,
Like if you like choose the 44 fighting the early on, and you lose some players, and rest of your team can't just play as aggressive as a four-man because you just don't have number advantage, right?
yeah.
And that's when you'll play the survival game in the end. But like it's gonna be hard. Just gonna be hard for you to like, you secure the chicken dinner and secure a good like position in the circle.
Yeah. But so, what do you feel? Because we have seen a lot of early rotations as well from Nova sometimes, a lot of late rotations as well. But at the end, they always make it to a very, very, very good area inside the circle where circle might just sometimes circle just shifts on them. Sometimes, they just stay inside the zone. So, how do you feel that happens? Is it Jimmy studies of the games? Is it like what happens? How do they always get the zone? That's my question. How do they always get the zone?
Well, Jimmy's experience always mattered because like if when you play the game long enough, you would know. Okay, the zone's probably ending here, not here,
Yeah,
because like you really see the zone, for example, in the map. Like there, if you play the game long enough, like with all your past gameplay experience, you would
yeah,
know if the zone like it really shifts to certain spots, and that's when you don't want to make the rotation to those spots because the zone probably will never go there. And this is the experience IGL experience from Jimmy, because Jimmy's just uh has so many experience. And also another part is I think it's just pure luck, honestly. Like like experience is one thing, but this is your RNG game,
yeah.
and luck also involved in those games.
Yeah, but I would still say, it's Jimmy's understanding because more or less most of the times he just takes the team to a very very good spot inside the game where they just where they just have the game for themselves. So I believe it's his understanding because we have seen some incredible rotations. Like actually, I have this one video that I'm gonna just showcase it to you.
Hmm.
This video is from PMGC 2020 finals. I don't know if you know it or not. And there was a rotation by Nova in Yasnaya Poliana, and trust me, that rotation was just out of the mind the way they did it. Trust me.
Hmm.
So the
I
video
kind of knew
is
like what you're talking about.
yeah. So the video is made like Nova XQF entering zone like a boss, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the title of the video. So I don't know your views on this because look at this. Look at where Nova is. You see them. They are outside, right?
Hmm.
Look at where they are. They just start entering and they take these houses in the middle, in
Hmm.
between all the teams. Everyone was actually thinking that Nova might die outside the circle. Look at Nova, look at Nova. They're just entering in between every single team. They're,
Hmm.
they're entering in between every single team and they're taking the houses that they feel no one has those houses. They just enter in like that's what I want to know. Like how do what goes on through the mind of Jimmy? That's my question in these moments.
So in competitive play, like when what Jimmy think is like in those last Yasnaya like city fights,
Yeah.
you see like you look at the top left on your screen, you see like 50 player alive, 60
Yeah.
players alive, and there's a whole city in front of you, right? You would assume like there are lots of teams in the city, and it seems like there's also saying in China like the most dangerous way is actually the safest way. So when we look at the rotation Jimmy made, it seems like really risky, right? Like, oh, you're crossing so many teams, but what Jimmy actually used this just to do the rotation, because we see like lots of teams in the city, right?
Yeah.
And they're actually like holding angles with each other. So while like you make the rotation like
If you
through
shoot them,
them,
yeah,
if you
someone
shoot them, the
shoots.
probably some other teams will shoot you, and
Yeah.
that's Jimmy made a use of the it seems like the most dangerous way, and that you to make a zone entry, and that's what like set him apart. Like this is
Wow.
just like game knowledge, and the most dangerous way is probably the safest way. And other
Wow.
teams will like other and the enemy teams will help you because
Yeah.
they're all holding angles with other teams. The teams can't just like a full body peek you while
Yeah.
you're driving, because it's just not gonna work. Other teams
I
will probably knock you.
Oh, trust me, with this one, I'm actually stunned the way just you just explained this to me. So, all right, do you believe? Here's another question, and that is, do you believe in what is that? What's the word? Coincidences. Do you believe in coincidence? Because
Yes.
someone actually sent me something. I'm gonna send it to you as well, so
Hmm.
that you'll have a good read of it as well. I'm gonna be sending it to you on Instagram.
Okay.
And once I do that, right, you just read it and just I'll read it out as well. And I want to know your views on this one. Trust me, because it's just something weird. But wait, it's loading. Yeah, now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I was seeing this. I was like shocked. People
Order
was
was
like
born
it was meant
on
to be.
2/22/02, triple double major awards, 2 PL, 2 PEC, 2 PMGC, carried Nova to win the second championship with 222 points on 2022 and claims his second major FMVP. What the fuck? Like, seriously?
I saw this. I was like, I was blown out of my mind as well. It was like it was meant to be, bro. Order is the chosen one. Order is literally the chosen one, and it should join TC. So, uh,
Oh, because TC is mostly at 2. That's what this.
so honestly, like it's just like insane. Like when I look at this, I was like, bro, this is just like Order is meant to be the champion. Order is born with like esport in his blood,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's just crazy.
Just like just as you said, TC, right? Do you miss the old? Do you miss the old 4 a.m.
Yes,
The
actually,
last PMGC one?
I I definitely miss them. Actually, I think like
Uh-huh.
lots of like global teams right now, like those like edgy playing teams, like
Mhm.
they mimic like the way for like the old 4am rotate. They were because or 4am is like not like Nova. 4am is like a playing edge at all times, and they make the
Yeah,
zone
yeah,
entry around the edges,
yeah,
and like Navi like A7.
yeah, yeah,
Like they learned, I think they learned some like stress from the old 4am that what sets them the best in their own region, and I kind of just missed that. Like right now, like no other teams that can. Uh, it's just like like the old like Chinese dominance time was like kind of missed that, but I'm also glad like all the global teams are improving so that we can have a
yeah,
better competition,
yeah.
right? Like those global teams nearly knocked Nova out of 16 place, out of the grand finals, and it's just so happy to watch it.
That's really nice. So here's
Mhm.
another thing. There's this video. This video is top clutches by Paraboy.
Mhm.
It's all about some of the most incredible clutches that Paraboy has ever done. I get it, your favorite player is Order, but this was
Mhm.
something that I could find, right? So I want to know your reaction on all these clutches because these are all in some incredible competitives, and trust me, the competition that this guy just brings up, right?
Don't say thank you.
Yeah, I cannot use this song obviously
Mhm.
because it'll give me copyrights. So
Mhm.
trust me, when people ask, who's the best player in the world, everyone just says Paraboy, Paraboy,
Mhm.
Paraboy.
Mhm.
What just separates Paraboy from everyone? I asked you this question. I know you said aim. You said right. You said that right. It's aim that just separates him from the entire competition. But it's not just aim. Sometimes I believe his game sense just gets to a different level. What's your take on that?
Mm, First of all, I do think like the aim is what separate him from the
Okay.
other players the most.
Yeah.
But also like his game sense are improving. Like he also mentioned himself like in this PMGC Grand Finals, he even improved himself because like the everyone so called like best players in the world like are improving himself because he said he was not good enough in this PMGC. He learned like how to improve his like gameplay. He started to scout for his team. He
Okay.
started to sacrifice his team with his team. Like in the past, he probably always stay in the back, covering for his team. But right now, he's like he's the one go scouting, and he's the
Uh,
one and like do stuff for his team.
uh.
So he was saying like
Because
right.
yeah, whenever we see these kind of fights, I don't see some insane reflexes by this player. I don't see some some amazing moves by this player. I just see pure aim, just like you said, right? And that aim is always on point somehow.
Mm,
It just makes me understand more and more. The more I see, the more I admire him as a player, and that just gets really good. Because look at this, he took down two moving vehicles. He took down two vehicles that just came in front of him, and still he's still surviving somehow. Look at, more or less, the other players, they somehow just feel as if they I don't want to say the word, but sometimes it just feels like they're comparatively a bit slower, even though he's not giving up some incredible reflexes though.
hmm It's just like Paraboy doesn't miss unless it's a close quarter fight.
Okay.
Unless it's a CQC, I guess.
So
Like
yes,
his low range and
you're
the mid
telling
range are
me
just
one
insane.
second. You're telling me his close quarter fights are the weakest. Maybe
Yeah,
if I
among
think
his like
yeah,
his
okay.
like long range and the mid range are too good. Like
Uh,
compared to CQC, his CQC is like improving. It's not like the worst like
yeah,
among the
I get
players,
it.
but like
Yeah.
compared with his like long range, like if his CQC is the weakest. Yeah.
But just just once you just look at all these things, it's so good because I believe he did a one before here. Yeah, he's just trying to find out the other players as well. So it's so good when he just understands it, and his aim practice, the one that you said. What do you
Mhm.
think a player should do to have that sort of aim? What do you think a player should do to have that sort of aim? His M16s are good, his M4s are good, his AKMs are good, his DPs are good, his UMPs are good. Sometimes his pistols are good as well. So, what do you think a player should do to have his sort of aim?
First of all, and you need to like practice the weapon he. If you want to be like Paraboy, you have to practice the weapon he used. Because we really like, for example, for me, I really practice M16 game because I knew I always get M4, so I really use M16. But if you want to be a Paraboy and be good at with any like long range and mid range gun, you have to practice those weapons in the training ground, and also watch my tutorials
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to get the best Chinese training drills so that you can improve himself. Because like my training drills, like I combine lots of like pro training drill and including Paraboy.
Oh, I love
So
this team. I love this
yeah.
team 4 a.m. as well. You know, I miss the old PC PEL vibes somehow. I don't know if you talk about it. Do you feel the new system that the Chinese are bringing in with the TPPs and all those things included as well? Do you think it's going to be good for the players? Because definitely they are outstanding in FPP. Now you guys are going
hmm
to be practicing TPP as well. So I believe next trophy is
There
yours as well.
there are some like players who are really good at FPP, but when it comes to TPP, they don't know how to play. They play like FPP and they die. It's because like between TPP and FPP there is just so different between
Okay.
FPP and TPP. Some players are just good at FPP. Like when we look at back at like I guarantee you like they'll like when we're watching like the this year's PL, like you would assume some players like do really good. Like he was so good at FPP. Actually, is just like decent now because like TPP is just different compared with FPP.
That's nice. I mean, that's basically one of the things that we have seen most, right? TPP, FPP differences, and in India, we're just trying to get people to play more FPP because I believe FPP. improves your sound sense more than anything. People play, sound visualization off, aim assist off, etc., etc. But what I believe is FPP, if you're playing in FPP, right, the same circle, the same rotation, you can do 1,000 times in TPP. But once you do the same thing in FPP, everything changes. Your perspective to see the entirety of the game just changes. That's my understanding. So I want to know if given a chance, uh, will these players play more FPP or TPP? What do you think? What are they going to prefer?
Well, seriously, it all comes down to the individual
Like
preference. Some players are good at
yeah,
TPP, some players are good at FPP. But for as for competitiveness, I think FPP is the way to go. But for more like for a viewer, like
yeah,
for like from a viewer's perspective, because
yeah,
you see like even if it's like in PL, even it's like FPP tournament, and the spectator often use the TPP view
yeah,
to showcase the whole fighting scene or showcase the players like mechanics. And
yeah.
that's because most of the players and the regular players, they play with TPP. They don't play
Mm,
with the FPP. And yeah, they just, and also every like global tournaments are TPP.
yeah,
And if like Chinese wanna dominant, and this
yeah.
time they got lucky, they have Nova and got a trophy for PL. But next time, who knows? The competition is getting tougher, and the global tournament, if global tournament is using like TPP,
Mm-hmm.
they should use TPP as well, honestly.
Ah, that's true. But I wanna ask one of the final questions out here: the inclusion of Sanok, because in Erangel, right? In Erangel, we see a lot of
Hmm.
gunfights happening. Not a lot of heal battles. In Miramar, we don't see a lot of heal battles. In Sanhok, we see heal battles. So I wanna have your take on that. What do you feel about the heal battles and Sanhok overall? Like, do you feel it's good because maybe there might just be a guy who starts healing from the fourth circle and ends up healing till the eighth circle. In fourth circle, we have all the teams surviving, right? We have all the teams surviving. We have 16 teams. The guy is solo, he starts healing and he takes his team to top three. So I wanna know your take on that. Is that viable or not?
It's definitely viable considering the right now, like the Sandhawk, how Sandhawk works, like in the global tournaments. Those teams like drop at the edge of this map, like they just loot first
Yeah.
circle, second circle, they just loot to get a medikit. You know, like from a competitor and also from a viewer, honestly, it's kind of boring. Like you want to see fights. You don't want to
Yeah.
see like a player. You don't want to see an Infinity guy like in the blue and having like a 30 medikit and like, healing himself. And
I mean,
this whole
Nickbag Alexei did that as well. You remember Ralph in the
yeah, like
finals, right?
lots of
33 kills. Yeah.
mess trading team. Like I don't have anything against them.
No, no, I
It's a
get it.
really
I
good
get it. I get it.
strategy.
Yeah,
They should
yeah,
use
yeah,
it, and
yeah,
like they really should use it, considering like how
yeah,
like you giving them like a greater reward that you can get
yeah,
like a 10 plus point in Sandhawk, and that's
yeah,
huge in Sandhawk if you can get a 10 plus point. Like you
yeah,
have to kill what? You have to kill two. You have to kill three full squads to get 10 plus points, and you can get it by just healing, and that's just insane. It's insanely good from a competitors like point of view, but like from the like I really hope like I've heard like PMPL is changing like
yes. They're
is
changing
changing
the
the
zone
how
damage.
the
Yes.
zone, but like honestly, it's just still they're still gonna bring unfairness to certain teams. Either some teams, drop at the edges and they can med heal, and
Mm-hmm.
considering how the Sandhawk terrain and everything, like you don't have a good vehicles as well. Mostly you will walk on foot, and it's impossible to push a team holding the high ground, right? And they can med strat, and does that mean the death of like all like teams dropping at the edge?
Yeah,
Where we see like drop fights in Painan and the bootcamp all the time because people just want the location because you can get the high ground. You
yeah,
know, unless like they change how the terrain of the Sandhawk to make it more easier for the edge, like the teams dropping on
yeah,
the edge to push
yeah,
into the circle. I think like if you just simply change, just don't allow increase the blue zone damage and the teams can heal in the blue, and it's just gonna still gonna bring unfairness to certain teams. We're probably gonna see like lots of teams like dropping on the sand and just trying to, fight for those
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. And what's your take on Vikendi? Because I remember Vikendi used to be there in PMWL, and what used to go through Vikendi is it was in last GC as well, but for a few games here and there. But I remember in Vikendi, BTR used to be one of the strongest teams. I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of the strongest maps of BTR was Vikendi. So I want to know your take on Vikendi because Vikendi is not in competitive anymore, right? Weekend RIP Vikendi for competitive. That's the thing. That's a meme that just goes around. So I want to know your take on Vikendi because trust me, I have seen a lot of heal battles in Vikendi as well.
Actually, I love Vikendi. Vikendi was like the second favorite in my map back when I play. Back when Vikendi like was in competitive. I just
Yeah,
because my team dropped in the same. Like we play like a PTR, so we're kind of enjoying like how the Vikendi, and also like I missed the old Vikendi where even though I know from a viewer perspective, like if Vikendi
yeah,
is kind of boring, especially in the first three circles
yeah,
the circle just don't move, and like teams are just sitting in the compound and fire some guns. That's kind of
yeah,
boring, and from a viewing experience, that's definitely not good. But
yeah.
um, honestly, just I really miss Vikendi. Like, hopefully they can add it back, and maybe
And
they
remove
can do some
Sanok
improvements on the zone.
and remove Sanok maybe.
Yeah, Sandhawk at this point the Sandhawk just they can remove the Sandhawk.
I mean, well, it might happen, but then again, before you just leave, I want to know some sort of a message if you would want to give to the Indian audience, because trust me, first time they loved you a lot. They loved you a
Mhm.
lot. They wanted more and more sessions like these, and well, thank you very much, for giving out your time for this one. But before you go, any message to the Indian fans of Nova, of Jifan, anything? Yeah,
Mhm. So I want to talk about like the Indian teams first because I know like lots of you probably like upset about like Galac's performance, but I feel like that's just like my expectations for Galac was if they can get at least top 10, that would be like really good for him. But they didn't manage to make it. But I think that's totally fine because God Kim Galac they lack experience, like a global experience. They play the BGIS and they suddenly like 1 or 2 weeks later they play the biggest tournament and play with
yeah,
all the global top teams. And if you put a Nova in the same position, Nova would be like the performance in the league stage where they ended up
yeah.
in
They
16th
they
place
they were
and
at
nearly
16th.
qualified
Yes.
for grand finals. So
Yeah.
even if the top team like your PMGC champion, like Nova Esports, and they probably still struggle, like if they were in the same situation as the team Godlike.
Yeah.
So to all the Indian fans, like just don't be upset. Um, like just like Indian, like the esports in India is growing, so I think like Indian teams will have a really good future. Like once they set up like esports like a calendar, um, so like just don't be upset, and then you can still support your favorite Indian team, and also you can keep supporting Nova Esports, and you can keep supporting myself because my team Nova Esports North America we will play the PMPL this season. So hopefully
Ah.
you guys can come and watch us play, and maybe we are in the next Nova Tencent. Who knows? So yeah, so
Yeah.
and thank you all the fans like supporting me and like the interview I did with Ocean, and I also appreciate Ocean for giving me the chance to speak out to you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoying the content, and make sure you click the subscribe button on my channel, and that's about it.
Well, the links would be down below definitely for Jipan's channel as well and his Instagram as well. So thank you very much, Jipan, for giving out your precious time for this one once again. And well, I'll see you around next time as well. Last time I said maybe I'll see you around once Noah lifts the trophy, and well, that happened.
Hmm.
So next time maybe I'll see you around when I mean a
My
bit
team will lift the
sooner.
trophy. My team will lift the trophy.
Or maybe an Indian team lifts the trophy against your
Oh
team. We
right,
never
that
know.
that's happened too.
Yeah. But well, I mean, thank you very much for being a part of this, and all the best for all the things in the future. Thank you very much, man.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ocean.
मम्मी से मत कर टाइम पास, तेरा फ्यूचर होगा इन द स्ट्रीट्स। देख हमने टाइम पास की बना दी इंडस्ट्री, चिल करके छापा पैसा मिल गई जैसे ड्रीम जॉब। मैं ही नहीं मेरे जैसे स्क्वाड में है 3 और। देख मेरे साथ स्क्रीन के उस तरफ रखे तू पैर, मालूम नहीं चलेगा रात से हो जाती कब दोपहर। प्यार हो या गाली यहाँ सब कुछ पड़ता मुंह पर, तभी लाइफ वाली गेम में हम रोज करते लेवल ऊपर।